All right, Milk Trip fans, we have a very special guest with us here today. We have the beautiful Julia Robbie.
Hello, I am here.
How are you today?
I am good. How are you?
Doing fantastic. First off, thank you for coming here for this interview. We look forward to it, and I'm sure our Milk Trip fans are as well.
Yes, I'm happy to be here. Excited.
So let's get into some questions, if you don't mind. We'll get to know you a little bit more. So can you tell us a bit about yourself and how you got started in the adult industry?
Yeah, so actually, I have been in the industry a lot longer than people think I have been. It's been over 20 years, about 21 years, going on 21 years this year that I've been in the industry. I got started when I was in college and I was about to transfer to a university, and I needed money for college. And I ended up getting a job as a dancer at a local club that is still there just outside of Detroit, Michigan. And then I bounced around from club to club for a while. Worked in Las Vegas. Eventually, I came out to Los Angeles and to support myself out here. Still continued to dance. Got into Playboy magazine. Had a bunch of fun stuff going on over there. Playboy Radio, Playboy TV, all the stuff that they have. Was lucky enough to have met Hugh Hefner a couple of times, so
Wow.
That was pretty cool. And then eventually, I sometimes will step away. You need a little bit of a break from doing this. It can be very exhausting physically and emotionally. So I have stepped away a few times and worked normal jobs. And then I will always eventually get back into adult work. So, yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Yeah.
I was going to say, if you want me to lead into how I got into porn, I could get into that if you want.
Yeah, that's actually our next question here on the list. So please feel free to go on with that.
Okay. So basically, pandemic hit in 2020. And because of the pandemic, I was laid off from my normal job, vanilla job, if that's what you want to call it. And I had still been camming on the side. So I was full-time webcamming constantly. There was nothing to do during the pandemic other than to be online. And I think the entire world was just online during that time. And I just hit a point of burnout. And I needed to do something else. I did not want to go back to stripping, being in a club again. That wasn't something I was interested in. And I started reaching out to porn agents, and I was interviewing them until I found an agency that felt, like they were going to be right for me. And then I ended up just jumping into it and getting into porn because of a burnout. So that's how that happened.
Now, are you still with an agency as of today?
No, I am on my own 100%.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's thanks for sharing. Yeah, I think you were still with an agency when you shot for us. I gotta say, everyone's loving your scene with Milk Trip. It's a great scene. You did really well. I personally loved it myself.
Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
So the next question we have: what misconceptions do you think people have about your profession, which is your adult job?
Well, I think there's a lot of misconceptions. For example, I feel like, I think people assume that I'm always in my house dressed in lingerie. I mean, look at me right now. I'm a normal human being. So I am just I guess the best way to put it is I'm a normal person. Just like you, just like everybody else on the planet. The difference with me is I am a entertainer. I always have been, even before I got into adult entertainment. I'm a theater person. trained actress, all that stuff. So what I do is I entertain, and this is what my audience is now. It's adult entertainment, so entertaining for horny guys or women. That's what I do. That's my specialty, but it doesn't make me any different of a person. I'm not having sex all the time. So a lot of people think that. Yeah, I guess that's the best way to answer it.
I agree. Excuse me. Yeah, you're right. It's a job. We're just like everyone else. The job is a little different from your typical 9 to 5, but at the end of the day, it's still a job, right?
Exactly. Yes.
So how do you navigate the balance between personal empowerment and societal judgments in this line of work?
So it could be really hard. So I'm just trying to think about, can you say that question for me one more time? Societal judgments. So the way people judge me based off of, can you say that question one more time for me?
Yeah. How do you navigate the balance between personal empowerment and societal judgments in this line of work? I'm guessing this would probably be more like on social media. How do we promote ourselves on all these platforms where we're going to be judged right off the bat? We're going to have a lot of folks following us and engaging, but at the same time, somebody's going to be reporting us, right? Just because they don't agree on what we do.
You know what? I've lost several accounts on social media. And that kind of brings me back to, I recently had an issue at a bank because of what I do. So we're constantly being discriminated against because of our jobs. And that is just a really frustrating thing. I know that the Free Speech Coalition is, looking into starting a credit union for the adult entertainment industry, which I think is amazing. Because we have to have a bank. You can't just not have a bank account. And to be kicked off of social media pages where I don't even have a link on it. There's no links. I'm not cross-promoting. I'm just on there. And then somebody says, oh, she's on Pornhub or she's someplace. And all of a sudden my account, I just try to go into my account and it's gone. So it is a very frustrating thing. And you get a lot of people who will, they use it against you.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're less of a person. You're not a person. You're just a sex worker. So it's unfortunate.
Yeah, I know personally the challenges when we're trying to promote our brand on social media. There's certain ways, I've learned to do it, but at the end of the day, you're going to get reports all the time. So you just got to be extra safe, and I think we follow you on Instagram.
Yeah.
I think you're Julia Robbie Comedy, something like that. Yeah, I do enjoy your content. It's first off, it's sexy, but it's also, you do a lot of comedy, right?
Yes, that is my first dream in life, was to be a comedic actress. So I guess that's kind of how I turned out to be this way. And so with my adult work, I try to incorporate my comedic side into that. It works for some people, it doesn't work for others, but it makes it a lot more fun for me.
Yeah, I see it a lot, either be Twitter or, or we call it now X or Instagram. I always do enjoy your content. I do like to like it, or I like to watch it. So it's some pretty cool stuff if you ask me.
Thank you.
So other than, the banking situation, which I've seen it happen, or just promoting on social media, are there any other challenges that you have faced as an adult performer, and how did you overcome them?
I mean, I don't like to get too much into personal details, but I recently had an issue with a family member telling me that they basically that they believe that I am incapable of caring for a sick member of my family because I have an OnlyFans. So that's just one thing that came up for me. And yeah, dating is another thing. Like you can date somebody and then all of a sudden out of nowhere they can't handle it.
Yeah.
And they use it against they'll use it against you, which I know I'm not the only adult performer who's had that happen to them, where a person seems like, oh, they're confident, they got this, they can handle it. And then all of a sudden it's like, you're just a cam girl. Like, that's all you are. So, yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing that. Very interesting. And I've seen it a lot with other female performers. Dating is always, usually a constant problem where either they're trying to date someone and they find out what they do and they think they could just do whatever they want on the first date just because the girl is an adult, or they end up trying it out and they can't handle it, that their girlfriend is going to her bookings and doing her job, so
exactly. Yeah. It's frustrating.
So you shared that you've been in the adult industry for about 20 years, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So what have you seen that's changed in the adult industry over all these years, and what do you think the future holds?
Well, I feel like it was easier when I first started. From just working the floor at a strip club, approaching guys and just having that's something that I'm very used to, is having a one-on-one conversation with somebody, going off for a lap dance or getting into cam, and you do the same thing. You're engaging with other humans on the internet and then having an intimate time in a private one-on-one cam session. And I was so used to getting to know these people, and now it's trailing off, grasping the idea of sexting has been so hard for me. It's not, now you don't have that connection anymore when you're sexting with somebody, and then it just took me a while. I'm still not completely used to sexting, but I'm trying to get there because it's more popular now than getting a cam session. Yeah. And the rise of all the fan platforms. Loyal Fans is my favorite one, and then you have OnlyFans or Fansly, all that stuff that's out there, and it's so different. I don't know who the majority of the people are. I wish that I did. And people are more afraid to reach out to me. They're afraid to talk to me. So it's been a huge change. And then you got the AI stuff, which is coming up. I know that a lot of people are, they fear AI, but I think it's going to make my life a lot easier. If I could just type in, and I actually did that when what is it?
ChatGPT. That's exactly where I got these questions for this interview.
That's awesome.
I did not.
So yeah, I went on there and I was like, make me content. What should I film next? And all the responses for me were, that's sexual. We're not doing anything sexual. So I think eventually AI is going to advance to a place where, somebody out there, some tech savvy person has got to invent some AI for sex workers. And that brings up a whole other thing of having availability 24/7, because I do feel people view me as a robot. And so they want me to be, I have had people get mad at me for not responding to their messages at 3:00 in the morning. So
it's like, we do sleep.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm thinking, maybe someday AI can fix that for me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting that you brought up ChatGPT. It's like, to be honest, I use it a lot. Let's say we have a sale going on at, let's say, MILF Trip. And I'll type, can you put in make a Twitter post for MILF Trip that we're having a Valentine's Day sale or something. Sometimes they'll prove it, sometimes they won't. I guess it depends on how they're feeling, but it can help with, Instagram posts. That's what I personally use it for. So as of right now, with AI, I feel like it's very helpful as of
Yeah,
right now. Yeah.
right. That's awesome.
So let's talk about some positive stuff. Can you share some positive experiences or moments that stand out in your career so far?
Um, let's see. From my stripper days, when I knew I was when I was exiting, I was like, I am done stripping. I wanted to go out with a bang. And so I competed in a competition for Spearmint Rhino. I think it was called Rhino Girl of the Year, something like that. I failed miserably at that. My theme that I was going off of, yeah, it wasn't very good. I'll just say that. It wasn't very good. It got tweaked. I wanted to do a whole Route 66 theme for it. And it just wasn't working. And then it got switched to something very simple last minute. And yeah, I mean, at least I competed in the competition, did not place or anything, but that was, I guess, a good way to go out. And then I would say more recently, it was last year. Yeah, it was a year ago when I shot for Adam and Eve, and I did my first and still my only feature, which was called Date Night.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was a good experience for me.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. That sounds like some really cool stuff. And what was that studio that you shot for or site? Adam and
That's
Eve?
Adam and Eve.
Are those performers or is that a pay site? I'm sorry, I'm not. I never heard of.
It's a pay site.
It's a pay site. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
So, is there a sense of community and support among adult performers, do you feel? And how do you guys support one another?
Yeah. There's some great options. And I think support is so important in this industry.
Yes.
So one that I really love right now is Pineapple Support.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Yeah, they are really great and they're very responsive. So I would say if anybody listening to this, if they are looking for help, you don't know where to go to Pineapple Support because they have a ton of counselors. They'll set you up with somebody super fast. So you have somebody to talk to, and they also have a ton of different support groups, which is awesome. And then there's also some online communities. You kind of have to be in the loop and know who people are to get into these little Discord groups that people have. But I've also found those to be very, very helpful. You know, going online, like even voicing some, it helps me too, because I love to vent. If I'm frustrated about something, I gotta get it out. I gotta talk about it. So sometimes I'll go into a Discord group and I'll be like, why is it so dead online today? This is awful. And it's nice. You get some positive feedback and you get some people who will lift you up. I will say be careful with that too. And be careful with who you pick to be your friends, because sometimes those people will completely flip on you. So you just have to be really careful with who you trust.
Yeah, like in any industry or any community, right? So, you know, you just got to be careful with who you trust, you know?
Mm-hmm. Amen.
So how does your work impact your personal life, and how do you navigate those boundaries?
Oh my God. Well, I am in therapy. And that kind of helps keep me sane. It is so hard to say, okay, now I'm at work. Now I'm going to go out with my friends. And it's like, there has to be a cutoff. And it is so hard in this industry. And, you know, as a performer, where I'm entertaining these men, women online, and then all of a sudden, for me, it's like around 6 o'clock where I'm done working for the day. And I have to figure out how to cut that off. How to I actually just started doing this new thing in the fetish world and dom and sub type kink play, you do aftercare. And I haven't done it for a couple of weeks, but I did find it to be very helpful, was do aftercare on myself. So look in the mirror and give myself a great big hug and remind myself who I am, and then I'll go pet my cats. I've got 2 cats. And so I will pet my kitties, give them hugs, get love from them, and then light a candle and just end my day like that. And that has been very helpful for me. I should probably do that tonight, actually.
That sounds good. Thanks for sharing that. There's also this thing that I have personally done. Every night, I write down 3 good things that happened in the day every night. And it kind of, it keeps you positive. You wake up. I feel like I wake up with a better attitude every morning since I've started doing that. So, thanks for sharing what you've been doing that you called aftercare.
Aftercare.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. So I have another question for you. What would you like the audience to understand or empathize with regarding the experiences of adult performers?
Why is that a hard question?
I think because there's a lot of answers. That's why. Maybe too many to share, perhaps.
I guess fantasy versus reality. I mean, what you're seeing and experiencing when this is it. I said this to somebody recently. I'm like, I'm here for entertainment purposes only. Like psychics say that, entertainment purposes only. And I think that's true for adult entertainment as well. Is it's entertainment, and I think a lot of people tend to get lost in what the fantasy is. So I just want people to know that I am not going to fuck your son. It's all a fantasy. I'm not going to take your husband away from you, okay? I'm just playing a character.
We're just providing entertainment. That's all it is, right?
It's all fun. The man gets hard, he jerks off, he comes.
And it's done, right?
And it's done. It's over. So don't worry.
So that leads us to another pretty interesting question. How do you deal with potential stigma or judgments from your audience or just the general public? Just ignore it. That's how we kind of, we've been kind of doing it.
Much. You just have to ignore it. And I mean, it's like, I feel like that's something that just is inside me, and it like is bottled up, and I don't know how to handle it. I don't know what to do about it. I mean, what do we do? I don't. It's hard to ignore. It really is. Is that
I agree. Yeah.
And it also makes me angry sometimes. And it's like, I want to say something to this person. Like the guy at the bank, the banker who was like, well, it was so crazy the way he said it to me. And maybe he recognized me or something, but he was like, we don't allow, how did he word it? Porn or adult work or something like that. We don't allow that industry to bank with us. And just the way he said it to me was he was making that assumption about me. So he must have seen me or something, or gotten the vibe off of me or something. I don't know. But I'm just like, oh, I am not. I am so offended.
Yeah, well, it's like, the money we make here in this biz, it's clean money. It's not dirty money. It's hard work. We work hard for it. So maybe you left him unread. Maybe he tried to reach out to you in the past and you never responded to him. Maybe he was pissed off about that. Who knows?
That could be it. Yeah. I blocked him. He pissed me off and I blocked him.
There you go. So considering that you've been in this biz for so long, like you shared earlier, what advice would you give to someone considering a career in this business?
Okay. I love this question. I'm so glad that you're asking me this, because I have people ask me all the time, like they want me to help them get into the industry, and I'm like, hold on. Why? You can't just say, I want to do it. You know, you think about why you want to do it. Think about your long-term goals. And actually, I really have it in my heart to advocate for women, but I should all people who are considering getting into the industry. I really think they need to know everything that's involved in the industry before they get in. It's not for everybody.
I agree. Yeah.
And I have a really hard time when people approach me and want to know more about it, because usually they're coming to me and they want to hear all of the good things, all the positive things. And I really just want to tell them all of the negative things, because that's not something most people are going to tell them about. So do your homework. If you want to get involved in this, do your homework, get a therapist, because you are going to have a therapist for the rest of your life if you're going to do this.
I agree. Well said. And, in my opinion, it shouldn't be about just the money. You got to really love what you're doing, have a passion for it, or else, you're not going to last long if you're doing it just for the money.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
So true. Mm-hmm.
So where can our listeners find your content? And do you have any social media accounts that you wish to share?
Yes. My X or Twitter, whatever it is people want to call it. I still call it Twitter, but
same here, yeah.
Yeah, it is at the Julia Robbie. My Instagram is at Julia Robbie Comedy. My TikTok, I don't have my phone. I have a ticky tacky. I like to call it my ticky tacky. It is, I think it's at the Julia Robbie.
I'm sure if they search Julia Robbie, they'll find you.
Yeah, and on there, everybody loves my fart stuff on there. I do the fart fetish because I think it's hilarious. I love fart fetish. So
who doesn't like farts? They're funny. They're cool.
There's so much. It's fun. So I just like to let those farts out, and then I'll put them on TikTok. So
there you go. Keep farting it out. We love it.
Yeah. My website is juliarobbie.com. That'll link you right to all my links. And you'll see all the platforms that I'm on. Sounds
good. Well, Julia, it's been my pleasure. We've had a great time here. Thank you again for coming on here, and hope to hear from you soon.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
All right, take care, Julia.
All right, I'll see you. Bye.
Bye-bye.